I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Well, I'm lumped up, but I'm okay. It's gonna get lumped up anyway. You better call back the posse. Just getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi.
Hey everybody, welcome to RockerMike and Rob Presents. I'm RockerMike. The man at the top right is Rob Rossi. And we have special guest today, George Figueroa, bottom right.
How you doing?
And today's really special guest is the gentleman in the mask. His name is Maddog Duce of the Mantors. Hello, Maddog.
How you guys doing?
All right, you're doing your best Kanye West impression right there.
Yes. Yeah, pretty soon, Kanye be wearing a mask, doing dirty lyrics, and it won't matter to anybody.
Yeah, everything gets ripped off. It's true. So we got
a long history of that. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We got a big show today. It's kind of a part two of a show that we did a couple of months ago on the Mantors. I actually sent that link to you. You kind of liked the show and agreed to come on. I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, it's a great show.
Cool. And George is back with his Mantors expertise. Absolutely. There they are, the Mantors. So before we start, I am going to crack a beer in honor of Eldon Duce. The original lead singer of the Mantors is to Eldon Duce. Okay. Rob's drinking his tequila, of course.
Tequila, jeez.
That's iced tea and Kessler.
I'm still drinking coffee.
For those who don't know, the Mantors are a shock rock, metal, punk, rape rock band. Okay, it goes back to the 1970s. Eldon Duce was the original singer, and unfortunately had a bad accident, passed away in 1997. And they had a couple of different lineups after that, and shortly they settled in on lead singer Maddog, who we have on today. And first question I got for you, Maddog, because you kind of were a fan before, right? And you had a Mantors cover band, the Mantors, right?
Well, that's way later in my association with the Mantors.
Yeah, tell us from the beginning how you got associated with them.
About 1984, I got a copy. My brother stole some money, and we went to Hollywood in the rock shop, and I ended up getting a copy of the Trash Bag EP. And that's about 84. And then I hunted down, I was like, I already knew of the Mantors. I had to get a copy of it. And the owner, Seth, from the rock shop said, hey, Duce's always here. He can sign it for you.
Right.
Well, he came in, and he signed it for me, and then I ended up not leaving. I ended up hanging with him. He took me to the Ivar Theater. I was there for a few weeks with him, living wherever we could live and partying and doing whatever. The Ivar Theater was a strip club that he took me to. So I'm a 14-year-old little kid checking out, all the things there is to check out at the Ivar. And, and then I ended up back at the main Mentor's house, and he's pretty much teaching me how to play drums. And then later just grew a big friendship. And then every time I would get him a show in Bakersfield, or basically I'd have to rent a hall or some kind of venue to put the show on, and then they'd play, and then the rest of the band would split back to LA and leave Duce with me, and I lived in the house behind my mom's house, so he ended up staying with me for months at a time and teaching me how to play drums, and you're in the band, telling me I'm in the band, and he's going to be up front singing like Frank Sinatra, and all that good stuff.
So he took you under his wing. You were like a protege apprentice of the Mentors.
He was your mentor.
Yeah, he definitely was my mentor. And, it's funny to look back on old photos of all that time because I was just a baby-faced little kid. And, it was just a kind of weird situation that a lot of people wouldn't think about.
Right. Well, are all the rumors true on how crazy he was?
Let me take this off.
Yeah, get comfortable. There you go, Marc.
He was a really sweet guy. He was a really sweet guy, actually. And when it came down to it, yeah, he was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. The tension in the band was nuts. They have the Mentors backstabbing, and the Sickie backstab, and the El Duce backstab, and the constant tension between everybody in the band. That they would get kicked out, let back in. There was Duce doing shows with 2 other people and partying and just people that didn't even know the songs. And he's passed out and Sickie standing out front of a venue going, "Don't go in there. I'm the mentor. I'll sing the songs," and outside the club by himself. It's just yeah, he was nuts, bro. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, we watched recently the Mentors Kings of Sleaze movie by director April Jones, who was also on our show recently as well. She's great. Shout out to her.
Yeah, she was
yeah, but that movie really I mean, there's so many things I learned in that movie because you guys are so underground. It's so hard to even find your records. Even back in the day, it was very hard to find that stuff. I'm from New York City. We're all from New York City, and there was only maybe I could think of like 2 or 3 record stores downtown that had that stuff. Right, George? It was kind of hard to find.
Yeah, that's a funny thing because it's very interesting the story you were saying how you were there like in '84 and you met Eldon, because I was in California in like the late '80s and I went I was like, oh, okay, let me go look for stuff, and I was in the record stores, and that's actually where I actually found it. It's a vintage Mentors shirt, Women of Sodom, and with the original stains from back then. I don't know what.
I
mysterious things.
I gotta tell you about those stains, and you're not gonna believe me.
Tell us.
Okay. In the back of the van, they kept all the shirts. Those shirts.
Oh.
And while they're on tour, and they're the same shirts that sold at the rock shop.
Right.
Duce would get so drunk that he used the boxes of shirts to sleep on when he was drunk. He pissed all over every last one of them. And nobody cared. Well, we want to buy a shirt. Okay, here's your shirt. Yeah, good luck. Take it.
Because my girlfriend was trying to get these stains out. She's like, I don't know what these stains are. They won't come. It's an old
DNA. It's Duce DNA.
Wow.
I was telling somebody about that yesterday.
What? That shirt? I've been doing that with bleach and everything.
Oh yeah, well it's beer and DNA.
It's Duce DNA.
To me. Because it was funny, because when I bought the shirt, I was talking to the guy. He's like, "Oh, you like the Mentors?" He goes, "Yeah, El Duce's in here all the time." So I don't know. It must have been, maybe it was the Rock Shop. It was one of those stores. I don't know if it was on Sunset or Hollywood Boulevard. It was all rock T-shirts and rock stuff.
Yeah, it had to be the Rock Shop because that was the only one on Hollywood Boulevard at the time that had everything. And there was nothing really on Sunset except for guitar stores.
Because it was so funny. Because when I got this shirt, we after that we went to my friend Bill. We went to what is it? They had a Star Trek experience at Disney World, whatever the hell it is out there, and they had a thing where and I was wearing this shirt, and they had a thing to be a Klingon. They had like an audition, so I went up there and I had like long hair, so I kind of I still look like a Klingon. So I got picked for the thing, and people were looking at the shirt. And someone was like, "Is that a Clan shirt?" I was like, "No, it's the Mentors." But everybody was cool back then. They were like, "Oh yeah, the Mentors, the Mentors." So it's funny how many people really do know the Mentors. I very rarely have met anyone who never heard of the band.
Well, it's funny as I could turn you on to just so much. Like, we're Rockstar's favorite band. I mean, and what's crazy is most of the bands out there that are getting them, the classic punk rock bands that are getting really good big gigs and all that good stuff. We sold more albums than they did.
That's true. That's definitely true.
But everyone's like, them guys are cool, but Mentors, but when it comes down to it, we had such a crossover genre. But you got to people don't know, like in the 80s, early 80s, Duce and Tom Petty used to hang out. They were buds. He was a fan. I was at Amoeba Records. Yeah, they used to get high together. But I was at Amoeba Records, and I get stopped by it's record day, so they have all these celebrities there, and I get stopped by celebrities like Wendy Elisa from Prince and the Revolution. Do you know who they are? The two girls in the the guitar player singer goes, Marc Duce, Maddog. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I'm all, hey, how you doing? They're all, oh, I love the new album, and I'm like, how is that? And I got witnesses that saw this shit.
That's great.
That nobody could take this away from me. And they're all, well, how do you know the Mentors? They're all, Prince thinks Sickie Wifebeater is the greatest guitar player of all time.
Wow.
Just yesterday, I had a buddy, he works for Primus, come in town, and he's like telling me Mentor stories with him and Les Claypool, and like Robin Zander from Cheap Trick knew exactly who I was, and came up and goes, Mentors were the greatest band of all time. And I'm like, are you serious? I think you're in the greatest band of all time. I mean, stuff like that happens constantly, and we never get the respect from most people, but except for big stars that are into us.
That kind of makes sense, because you're doing what they wish they could do. They're like, look at what these guys are putting it. We can't do this. People would they think we're nuts or something. They'd hate us. It's like no holes barred. And a creative person would respect that. And it's art. That's what it is.
It's shocking art. Definitely controversial art. And we sing about everything. We don't sugarcoat nothing, and we don't play favorites. And if we sing about emo kids or glam rockers, it's all the same to us. And then we sing about ourselves, calling ourselves stupid. I mean,
so much of the lyrics are like self-deprecating humor. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
And unfortunately, in today's world, the idea of like self-deprecating humor or satire in any way is just so like beyond them. It's over their heads. Okay, so that's why
Cardi B's cool.
Well, I mean,
singing to kids. Hey, she's at the White House.
I mean, you're talking about. I mean, she talks about her pussy, so that sells millions. Okay.
Sexy Red has Pound Town.
Pound Town, that's the latest one. Yeah, that's the latest one.
My lips are pink and my butthole's brown. It's singing about her butthole. I don't know. What's the language on this show? Is it
anything you want?
Anything.
I mean, she's fucking singing about that fucking tunnel, that fucking shit tunnel of hers. But it's on the fucking radio. But Mentors,
you're ripping off the Mentors.
Yeah, it's all.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, because they'll tell you that, oh, it's not serious. We're just making fun or whatever. And that's exactly what you guys were doing for the last 40 years. Okay?
Yeah,
is you just, having a good fucking time, talking about some funny shit, talking about some real shit, but in a funny way. All right? And,
everyone deserves to be made fun of.
There's no...
Yeah, look at yourself. I look at like Don Rickles did. Fucking make fun of everybody.
Exactly. There's nobody above.
And I honestly think, and I've always, I'm into all kinds of bands, but I think the Mentors are probably one of the most important bands of all time, just for the simple fact of what they did, and then what I do, along with the mentors, me carrying it on. I think it's so important because the way everything's going, we need somebody to call out bullshit, and nobody does. Nobody does. I mean, you got Steel Panther. Steel Panther was kind of fun in a tongue-in-cheek kind of goofy way, and I really don't like bands that kind of play with it, like, oh, we're so witty. I'm not into that. I want to hear. I want to. If you like black metal, I like Black Snatch. That's what I want to hear in a song.
That's the name of an album right there. Black
Snatch. Yeah.
That's a song on one of our last albums, Ducefixion. And by the way, I got to mention that we're coming out with I got a shameless plug here.
No, do it.
We're coming out with a double greatest shits album.
I heard about this.
It's the first Mentors vinyl release since the 80s. It's going to be 19 or 20 songs, all recorded badass. A lot of that older stuff wasn't recorded very good, but it's still classic and it still has a place in my heart and all that. But we decided to go after it and coming out with a double record set, just so somebody gets something new, and it's a new old thing, and there's a lot of music on it. There's newer music, older music. It's
so it encompasses the whole history pretty much.
Yeah, a lot of the history. Yeah, I didn't put I try to involve everybody that was been associated with the Mentors in one way. A couple of different guitar players, a couple of different people. I didn't add. I mean, of course, we have some members that live overseas that handle, like, I'd be overseas right now, but I had a back surgery scheduled, so I didn't get to do the last European tour. So we have a band over there, a bunch of hired guys, in hoods, with Dr. Heathen, and
who's doing the vocals for that?
I'm not sure his name.
He hired somebody?
Yeah, he hired somebody that kind of looks like me, but he's up there up front. Yeah, I've done a European tour just last year where I played guitar and sang, and we had this other guy from Italy playing drums.
Right.
And that worked out really good because we have our friend Paul Van Rijswijk, which is in a couple of famous bands over there like Hammerhawk and Emerald. He played guitar for some of the shows, and the poor dude, his mom died like the 5th show into the gig, tours. He had to bounce. So, life happens. So sometimes there's different people touring, but the basis of the Mentors is, me and Heathen and the other guys from California. And Sickie's still kicking it, but he's not doing gigs. And, I don't know if he hasn't been invited to do shows or if he's really not feeling good. I know he had some health issues.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But so I try to involve everybody on this new project, and the people that aren't on it really kind of didn't make an effort to be on it, and the people that are on it made the effort to be on it. So if anybody cries, that's on them. But it's the first vinyl new. I mean, because we've had re-releases, but this is the first new 100% and the first double record since the 80s, and the very first double record set.
So it's kind of like some of these older songs are just redone.
Yeah, redone.
By whoever's involved.
Yeah, mainly me and Heathen and stuff. And a lot of the older songs, I'm going to tell you, were recorded about 7 years ago. Like Having Sickie's Baby, Corn Shucker, which was a song that was recorded by Guns N' Roses, and they didn't give us credit for it. You can look it up.
Where did they record that?
It was on the back of. It was on a single on the back of "Used to Love Her, But I Had to Kill Her." You can
from
look
the
it up.
Lies album. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and they used to do it beforehand. Duff, I've met Duff many a time. He's a big fan.
Duff would be the guy because he's kind of like the punk guy in the band. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows. He told me for straight up, But I kind of got off track of what I was talking about. Oh yeah, we got Peeping Tom, Having Sickie's Baby, Corn Shucker, Going Through Your Purse, Free Fix for a Fuck. A lot of those were recorded, and a few more I'm not mentioning. About 7 or 8 years ago, with the three of us, me, Heathen, and Sickie. like the classic lineup, and they're awesome the way we did it, and they sound amazing, and I ain't taking nothing from any of Duce's stuff because that stuff's brilliant, but on the early Mystic Record stuff, they have no control over the recordings because they're owned by somebody else, and they don't sound that great. They basically kicked Sickie out during the recording process, and the bass player that was filling in at the time, even though Steve was there, kind of it's a little confusing, but the bass player they had while Steve was in school decided to produce it since he wasn't playing bass, and kicked Sickie out during the process of it all, and basically mixed the bass way loud. It's out of tune. It's and they didn't really give a fuck because they didn't take it that seriously.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you're kind of updating these things in a better technology and all that. That's very cool.
I'm still keeping it most analog though. On that side, I got an analog reel-to-reel setup, and I at least go there first before heading for the computer.
Cool. I just want to ask you something. Since you've been around since the 80s with the band, what's the difference now, if there is any, between the audiences then and the audiences now? Say in America, as an example.
Well, Europe, I'll tell you about Europe later. America, nobody holds on to music like they do. Everybody, I used to like that band. I loved them. East Coast, where you guys are at, you guys hold strong to your metal. If you guys loved it when you were teens, you love it now.
Still love it.
It's not like that in California. So we kind of get the younger kids that just kind of discovered us, the little shitheads and stuff. and that's great because there's always a whole bunch of shitheads that love us, and I've had it all good and all bad from fans, but the ones that it's weird because the people who like the Mentors still like the Mentors. They're curious. What the fuck is going on now,
But back then in the 80s, obviously what they were doing was so shocking, but they had their cult following, okay? Yes. And crazy shit went on in those days in all genres, really. The whole music scene is totally different now. But, are people offended by the music now at the shows? Like if they don't know you or like...
Yes, completely.
What happens?
The sound goes off, first of all. You got some LGBTQ, whatever it is, not being offensive to those people.
Alphabet people. Okay.
And they shut the sound off and walk the fuck out of the club and like, what's going on? No microphone. I've had that happen. People have attacked Steve, who's old, and tough guy up there because they don't, most of the time they think we're the Klan. Which I don't understand. Our hoods are black and they're not pointy. And have you never seen an executioner before?
Hoods. Anybody with a brain knows that.
They would rather get offended first and angry first before you research.
There you go. Good point, George.
It's the oppression Olympics.
And then I was not in the band for a while. I had to take a leave of absence due to health reasons and a couple of other things. Steve had the greatest idea of doing a tour and calling it the Anti-Antifa tour.
Oh boy!
In his goofy ass brain, he thought of it as like Uncle Ben's rice or Aunt Jemima, Annie's Pizza Kitchen, Anti-Antifa. He drew up this lady. Hey, I'm Anti-Antifa. And it wasn't an anti-Antifa tour. It wasn't we are anti-fascist because I'm anti-fascist. I'm sure every one of us on the screen is anti-fascist. Okay, we just don't have any association with a group that either you are or you're not. But he decided to do that in his ultimate wisdom, and it really messed up a lot of stuff. It really, tours got canceled before we even got there. It really put the band that was we could go to Seattle and play on Christmas and New Year's, and always have a gig in Portland, Oregon on New Year's that would sell out. When I was the heart of me being in the Mentors up until the time of Antifa tour, we could go to see Portland, Oregon, and have 500 people, no problem, and just stuffed in a club. Biggest time of problem. Once that exalted wisdom came out, nobody would book us. Nobody had time for the Mentors.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we get those people. Like, I had to go to a meeting in Berkeley because they didn't want us to play at the Gilman Street where I used to work, and because they didn't understand what the song was about, or whatever the case. So I go, and these guys are reprimanding me about rape rock. Like, they know what it's about, that we rape women. No, stupid. No. Rape rock is more like how McDonald's or the gas prices rape your wallet. Rape rock is what rock music does to the music industry when they're putting out a bunch of bullshit pop stuff, and we're raping the music industry and shoving Mentors down your face. So, I mean, we're saying find her, feel her, fuck her, forget her, sandwich of love, whatever we're singing is against the establishment, and we're saying, fuck you, you're going to take this shit, Yeah. And it's raping the music industry. So, people are trying to reprimand me in Berkeley, California, how, well, music, movies, art doesn't need to represent rape in any way. And the guy would never, him and his buddy are up there telling me about, fascism and rape and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, what about movies with rape? Well, I would never watch a movie or like a movie that had a rape scene in it. That's gross to popular. I go, well, nice Clockwork Orange shirt. I
was just going to say that. Yeah. Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. I go, that's got the craziest rape scene of all. I go, and your buddy over here is wearing a G.G. Allen shirt. So you gotta figure out what fascists you want to be, for or against, because I knew G.G. People don't know that. I knew Gigi. I know Merle. I know what comes out of their mouths. What are you going to say? You either got to be against Mentors and all the rest of that shit, or stop picking sides. So, I mean, it's like that in the real world anyway. So that's how the fans have changed throughout time, is that people are so quick to be offended. They see older dudes, most people think I'm old white guy. I'm actually full-blooded Mexican, but they don't know that. They just want to point fingers and blah blah blah, and they see gray hair, old guy. Oh, must be that generation, and it's
they're all hypocrites. They're all hypocrites, Mark.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, they're the ones. To me, they're the ones that are racist. They're the ones that are judgmental, and it's just ridiculous. But in a sense, I hate to put it this way, but in a sense, it's almost like the PMRC kind of won in a way. Okay, now I bring that up because the Mentors were so, kind of like lumped in with all that stuff that happened in the 80s. In some ways, being singled out, I'm sure it helped sell records.
Oh, okay? What's crazy is they didn't want to put us on the Filthy 15 list, afraid that we'd sell more records.
They knew.
They knew because the ones that they already put on there were already selling a lot, so it didn't matter. Let's keep the Mentors off there because we don't want them on the radar. After they had the backlash of getting us out there and going, oh shit, now everybody's buying this album,
Let me give a little background here on the PMRC for a second for anybody that might not know or doesn't remember or they weren't born yet. In the 80s, there were a bunch of senators' wives that got together, created the Parents Music Resource Center. And their idea was they were offended by what was going on in rock music, certain lyrics. I think there was some rap music in there, too. Early rap music was in there.
Two Live Crew, probably.
Yeah, or Public Enemy or something. They were mostly singling out heavy metal and some punk bands and things like that. Even Ozzy.
Darling Nikki by
Prince, right, because of the sexual content. And they actually had these hearings, and the idea was they were going to put, stickers, warning stickers on CDs at the time. That happened out of that whole thing. That still goes on.
That helps sell albums.
It does. And what's great is the Mentors lyrics for, what was it, Golden Shower? Got read into the congressional record of the day, which is hilarious. You can see that in the movie Kings of Sleaze, how it's read into it. But the point I was originally making is we're at a point right now where it's like they are offended by the lyrics, these kids, okay, where they wouldn't have been 40 years ago. It would have been the greatest thing. It would have been hilarious. I mean, just even in that scene where they're reading it into the record, there's people laughing.
Well, yeah, the crowd is laughing.
It was funny to them at the time.
Even Frank Zappa was like, "Where'd they get these guys from?"
Yeah, he's like, they dig real deep to find them. Some comment.
Frank Zappa.
Frank Zappa actually used Golden Shower lyrics in one of his songs
after
the PMRC. Yeah, and mentors get checks from that. Yes.
That's great.
Yeah. So what really put the PMRC on the map was, I guess, the situation with the Darlene Nikki stuff, masturbating to the magazine.
That lyric.
And I guess so. What happened was they got with this preacher. For some reason, this preacher was way ahead of it and knew of the Mentors, and they saw that, and then it started the whole thing. If this is out there and this is on Enigma, well, it was on Metal Blade, but distributed by Enigma, which distributed Motley Crue and a bunch of other bands. Yeah. This has to be something huge.
And he's probably a secret fan.
Yeah. He's probably a pervert, is what he is. Little kid lover. I mean, he's up there going. He's up there going. Oh my! Smell my anal, baby! Oh, he's trying to smell it. Is what he's doing. So they originally got it thinking we were already huge, like Motley Crue.
Yeah. But
they don't realize that they just sold thousands of Mentor albums.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of them. And it's funny because you like when you said you went to the rock shop and all that, and the people back then with the fan base, most people thought we were rich. Or not we, because I hung out with them, but they thought Duce lived in a mansion. They thought the whole band were rock stars, rock and rolling in a bus all over the United States. It wasn't the case. It was Duce lived most of the time on the streets of Hollywood, behind Playboy Liquors or wherever else, or couch surf. He stayed at, like, the people from Buck Cherry stayed at two. They didn't even know until I met them when I was in another band on the road with them, and like the guys from Buck Cherry, the singer and the Asian guitar player, Duce stayed with both of them. At one time, I hear stories, from the guys from Lamb of God and stuff. They all, whoever was in Hollywood, Duce stayed on the couch, and people's perception was the Mentors were huge, like Wasp, Kiss, huge, fan mail from all over. It was funny.
Yeah. Well, let's elaborate a little bit on the European crowds. How were they?
They are very interesting, to say the least. In Germany, you got the 4F or the Golden Showers, Mentors Golden Shower clubs. So you go play Germany, they drop their pants, they're peeing out and lower each other in the audience.
Russians are into that stuff. They like scats. And,
yeah. Germans don't give a fuck.
They're into freaky shit. Yeah.
Yeah, they rock, man. But Holland, all those countries over there, they are metal to the fucking bone.
Yeah.
And they wear their badges out loud. They're out loud with it. I mean, a lot of them are young. I can't mentally associate with them like on a deep level because they don't have the history. But the dudes that are older are the same as they were when they were younger, and that's where the difference between the United States and Europe is.
But do you get that?
Except for the East Coast.
Do you get that level of offended stuff like them turning off the mics and things like that?
Not so much. The times like in Poland this last year, we lost a couple of shows because certain groups, the feminists or whatever, got wind and they decided to have the show shut down. That happened probably to 5 shows out of 30.
No, that's not too bad.
On that tour.
Wow.
But it sucks because we were going to play like the capital of Poland and the capital of Bulgaria. It's usually at the capital cities that happens to. But when we go to, I can't even pronounce the names or even remember the names of most of those cities. When we go to obscure city in Slovenia,
they love it.
They love it, and half the crowd don't even really know who we are. They're just going, and by the end of it, everybody's buying merch, and they are fans. We're having barbecues and having a great time. And they're so thankful that we come regardless, because nobody does it. We don't care if we're playing a big hall or a backyard party, and we go do them and we love it. Yeah. And they see that and they're going to be fans forever.
Cool. Who do you listen to today, Marc? Anybody new?
New? Man, that's really hard. Blackberry Smoke's kind of new. I mean, okay. I like them. More of their rock and stuff. I was checking out Ghost. They have some cool stuff. Ghoul's really good. I'm a huge Neurosis fan.
Okay.
But they're older. I knew them when I worked when I lived in Berkeley. It's really hard. I'm into the classics, Ted Nugent, Kiss, AC/DC, Cheap Trick,
That's me. I'm old school.
Yeah. It's hard to beat. I mean, look at my room.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where I do all my record hit making.
It's funny, if half of that music came out now, like Ted Nugent, like they're always trying to cancel them, AC/DC, Dirty D's. Back then they were trying to ban them. They were trying to ban them back then. They said AC/DC with the lightning bolt was satanic.
Antichrist, devil's children.
Right, remember that?
Yeah.
There was a big case in the I guess it was like the late '80s that happened in Long Island in Northport. There was a guy, Richard Cass. So it basically hit him and his friends were a bunch of drug addicts. So one guy stole the other.
They were dust heads, right?
Well, I think they were doing hallucinogenics and everything. And they killed this one guy, and they kept going up and visiting the body until he proposed, and then, But he when he was arrested,
they made that movie River's Edge about it, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what that's based on. River's Edge.
Loosely based.
But he had an AC/DC shirt on. So then they were saying, "Oh, this is AC/DC." And
Richard Ramirez. Night Stalker.
Right.
Night Stalker, yep.
So,
what's funny is I know people that knew him, and it's crazy. I did a lot of work with Christian Death, Roz Williams, when he was alive, and his wife, whatever they were, would visit Richard Ramirez and my buddy. He owns Murder Auction. Jerry, he was good friends with him, and it's crazy what the stories I hear. But yeah, it's funny. I don't even think he really liked AC/DC. It was just a hat he got. I'd like to believe that he loved them.
It's better for the story.
Yeah, it's great. And it's so weird how I mean they sued. They try to sue Judas Priest for the kids committing suicide, and I want to see if people are going to start suing Cardi B because their daughters became pregnant strippers. It's their fault. It's their fault, not mine. Not mine because I'm a bad fucking parent. It's your fault.
That's what I think you should do. Like, instead of rape rock, you should be rape and pillage rock, or just drop the rape and just have pillage rock.
I'm not a fan of the rape rock moniker. I mean, there's a whole lot of bands that fall under that. But I can't change it. It's there. Who am I to question it? Just because it's so fucking shocking to people that they will not understand it. They, no matter what you tell them, and now, especially more, you got those people in this world that are, I wouldn't say they're left or right, and you present them with facts. Say, look at the facts. It will never go in their head because they are so dead set on that's offensive.
Right.
I have the right way. It's okay for my kid to read books about dildos in school. I don't want my kid in grade school. I mean, I don't want anybody under 16 listening to the Mentors. I don't want them at my shows. I don't even want to look at them. So I mean, but you want to.
Drag Queen Story Hour.
Yeah, I mean, but I am the asshole that puts a trans girl on stage at a mentor show for all these hetero boys to be, I love her.
Yeah.
She got a dick.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I mean, that shit don't bother me. I got lovely friends that are gay and trans and a whole bit, But nobody sees that because they're so stuck on what we are or what's right and wrong.
They're brainwashed, Maddog.
Yeah.
Like,
stupid. What also I think they feel feeding into their narcissism. It's kind of like, everyone thinks their opinion is better than everyone else's, but it's not. They're all fucking shit. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. And other people are entitled to theirs. But their thing is like, no, if I don't like it, nobody can like it. And nobody can hear it. And it's got to be canceled. Not realizing somewhere down the line, you're going to be canceled. Because let's be honest, 10 years ago, if you said a man could be a woman could be a man, then people say you were nuts. Now you can't. Now you cannot say that. So
no. You cannot say a man cannot have a baby anymore.
Right, birthing person.
I mean,
birthing person.
Whatever. I mean, it doesn't hurt me. Whatever. But,
let me ask you, Mark. Let me ask you one question. How you guys do in South America? Because they love rock and roll out there. They love that kind of music. How you guys do in South America?
Have you guys never been? Never been. But there's a tour coming up for South America.
You would do good in Brazil.
Yeah. Don't know if I'm going. I'm planning on it. But they moved my surgery to February, like 29th, so leap year. So hopefully I'm good to go with no downtime. Because I know we have some shows coming up in the States. I think we're playing with Helmet soon. I think it was requested by the band. And that happens a lot for us. Like the Zero. If you ever heard of the 80s band, the Zero, the Purple guys, they were on Geffen. They were huge. They were doing
Zeros?
Huh?
What are they called?
The Zeros.
Zeros, yeah, I heard.
Yeah, they were doing a show at the Whiskey Go-Go in Hollywood, like a reunion show. They requested that we open for them, which is a total culture shock, But we were so down with it. But then I guess the singer lives out there. I guess something happened, internal problems or something. So we're not doing it, But we got I think Helmet's coming up. A lot of bands like Anvil and stuff requested for us to play with them. Just I don't know why, but they just ask, But I don't know. This happens.
South America might be huge for you guys because those people are still jamming. It's like the 80s never left. That's all they listen to out there.
Yeah, for sure. And then I've been to a lot of stuff out there, but we put out the album Over the Top in Espanol también, for them, and put it on iTunes if tu quieres, but it's for our people speak Spanish, but it's really big over there. They really like it. And we have actually do have a lot of fans out there. Just the band haven't played there yet.
Wow, I'm surprised to hear that. I thought you would have made it down there by now.
Yeah, looking at Australia and Japan also, we get hit up all the time. And I was working on Australia last year, just couldn't get enough shows on the tour to not just cost us a whole shitload of money to go. Because if we do a tour like that, we got to include renting a drum set, and then pretty much probably have to pay for the drum set afterwards because I'm going to put porno all over it and stuff. So
you put pictures on it.
Yeah. We fucked up my drum set, even if it's tape, they'll still charge you. And, you know, rent amplifiers and stuff like that just for our back line, because usually the clubs have PAs and stuff for the theaters or wherever we're playing. So, and we have a big following in Australia and Japan that we are definitely trying to get over there. And if anybody, you know, has a lead on any of that, they can always hit me up on the Mentors Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Mentors Band. I think it's how you we started talking.
Yeah.
And, you know, and hopefully getting that stuff worked out so we can, while Heathen is still alive and while everybody's still alive, we can go do something like that.
I hope that happens. Now, how about coming east, New York or anywhere?
Pretty soon. We did the West Coast up to certain parts, but we didn't hit far east. And I love hitting all that, you know, New York, New Jersey, going to TikTok Cafe in Clifton, New Jersey, you know, and having some matzo ball soup and all that good stuff. I love being on the East Coast. You know, I have a lot of good friends there that I'm waiting to see.
Passaic.
Yeah. Yeah, we had last time at Dingbats. It was a little interesting, you know. After the show, hey, we're here for our money. Okay, you know.
No.
But the owner ended up like there was a misunderstanding, so it was.
Yeah, these things happen.
Yeah, I didn't know. It was funny thing is I went there and I was like, hey, can one time get like the Cro-Mags to open up, or maybe Harley or something. I didn't know there was like a beef.
Oh, well, you know.
And I walked, boom, in my face. I had all these people.
This podcast, our shows, we're friends with Paris.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right.
I heard he has a podcast out right now. I got to check out where he talks about all of that stuff. And I'm dying.
Yeah, he doesn't talk about it too much. In fact, when we were going to have him on a few years ago, I'll tell this story quick. A friend of ours remember Jerry, Rob?
Yeah, that passed away.
Jerry Smiley passed away a couple of years ago. When he was still around, he hooked us up with Paris. He was friends with him from the hardcore scene back in the 80s and stuff. And we were going to have Paris on, and Paris came down to the International Bar where Rob works, and we sat around, and he said, you know, we were talking about different podcasts we have, and we told him about our Conspiracy 420 podcast, which is all about conspiracies and mysteries and all that. And he basically said, I'd rather talk about that stuff than the music. So we were like, no problem, you know? So he went on, he was telling us about the Son of Sam murders and ancient Egypt and all this shit. It was like he had the whole bar mesmerized.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's a great guy. Yeah.
I heard he's smart as a motherfucker, too.
He is very smart. And that whole Cro-Mags thing to me is a disaster. I mean, it is such a great band. And it's just a shame that it all came down to like
one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, from that era, absolutely. You know, and you know, it's just a shame it came down to like, you know, court cases and fighting and all that, because they never really made any money. Age of Quarrel, they made dick off that. They didn't make anything. But that album is just classic.
Classic. Best album, one of the best albums of all time.
To me, it's in the top 10.
I got 2 copies. I love it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, George, you're a fan of that, right?
Well, doesn't Harley own the name now? Because that was like
they have to share it. They have to share it.
I know, like John
Joseph has his version and Harley has his version. I don't think Joseph moved down to Florida. He's out of the East Village now. He does a lot of other things, but he has his Blood Clot band, which is great.
Right.
Okay. Harley, I don't know. I was just in that movie with Harley. I'm in a movie called The Ghosts of the Chelsea Hotel and Other Stories. And it's directed Danny Garcia, who's a good friend of ours. And Harley's in it. I'm in it. Harley's in it more than me. He's got like the whole history of living in there and all that. Me, I just tell a ghost story of something that happened to me in the place. But great movie. And, you know, Harley's a nice guy, but he's not doing anything musical as far as I know.
I think he's touring using the Cro-Mags name. But one time, I think in 2011, we played a punk rock picnic here in California, and the Cro-Mags were on the bill, the main band, and with John Joseph at that time.
Yeah.
It was him and the guitar player from Agnostic Front that's been a part of the band for many years.
Yeah.
And the drummer that's on the Age of Quarrel album. Okay. And I'm not sure who the bass player is. Asian guy, he's a really nice guy. What's funny is John got me and Sickie. It was like, I want you guys on stage with us, and put us on the stage, and like it was a huge production stage, and there we are, all, yeah, Cro-Mags, He's like, we got the Mentors up here, and, the incense burning on stage, and if you think of the band, it's like, why would they have the Mentors up there? It's just history, it was just funny. And Jello Biafra was on the gig too. We had a great time with him.
You guys would be very well received at the shows in Tompkins Square Park.
No,
okay.
I'm not aware of it.
Do you communicate with John Joseph?
Oh no,
right.
not
you know what? I'll try to reach out to him for you, okay? Because they do shows there in the park. This is on the Lower East Side. It's on like 7th Street between Avenue A and Avenue B. The park that's right there.
Yeah,
they have these hardcore shows once or twice over the year. In the summertime, in the springtime. Yeah, great, right? George, I've been to them with you.
I thought Mentors would be great with the Nihilistics.
Oh, the Mentors and the Nihilistics. Shit.
we also, I got to throw a shout out to Chesty Malone and the Slice.
Chesty Malone and the Slice.
Oh, yeah, yep. Gotta love them, man.
Great fucking name, too, the band.
Yeah,
but,
they had Murphy Law play out there. They had a bunch of bands.
Murphy's Law always plays too, those shows. You should try to get into that. I think you guys would be great for that.
Well, it'd either be great or it'd be a disaster. They might love us or they might hate us,
Either way, it would be great. But I can tell you this much. If you come to New York, we will all hook you up. You got a place to drink, whatever you need, okay? You just let us know when you're coming out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right.
Hey, and yeah, I don't know how much time we got, but, a lot of history, man. There's a lot of history from Courtney Love on. And,
you want to talk about that?
I'm a conspiracy theorist, too.
Oh, here we go.
We got time.
Let's get to the meat.
Let me.
I want to tell you something. I am a conspiracy theorist, and I'm like right before getting on here, I'm like watching flat Earth videos.
Yeah.
I love everything to do with the flat Earth, and I want everybody to think I'm a flat earther. I'm not a flat earther. I'm not. But I want everybody to think I'm a flat earther. I get the.
It's a great concept.
Oh yeah, I believe birds are robots. The jellyfish. I love all the conspiracy things. But, there are some older conspiracies that touch on the Mentors like Courtney Love.
Okay, well, for those who don't know what Maddog's talking about right there, okay, El Duce, original singer, was supposedly, according to him, offered $50,000 by Courtney Love to kill Kurt Cobain. Okay, and this story came out years back. Okay, and what do you know about this, man?
It was a documentary too.
There is a whole documentary about it.
Yeah.
But what do you know, man?
Okay, so Duce's at a party. Courtney Love's there. People are like, how does Courtney Love know the Mentors? We can play 6 degrees separation, and from the Beatles, I can get from the Beatles to the Mentors in 2 or 3 people.
Really?
I can get to Elvis in 2 people. Elvis, his daughter, my friend Mike Lockwood, that was his wife.
Lisa Marie was into cool shit.
Yeah.
Most of her life.
But my friend was married to Lisa Marie. So, I mean, I can get to most rock stars just off a few degrees of separation. Sickie went out with the drummer for Hole. They dated.
Yes.
Susie. Duce, they all knew each other. We all, knew every band out there. We all crossed paths at some point when Hole was smaller. I don't think her hole was smaller.
I was just gonna say she never had a small hole.
But, so they run into each other at a party, and candidly, Duce is all, where's your, I'm not going to say the word, it's an F word, but it's not the F word we know. Where's your something old man wearing a dress, and, to Courtney Love, where is he? And Duce, just drunk grandpa. And she's like, I don't know, why don't you kill him for me, Duce?
Wow.
Other people was there. Other people heard it. They supposedly had words after that. At the rock shop, the people that run the rock shop comes into play again, says people showed up, gave Duce about $5,000.
Really?
Wow.
So he could travel. He said it was for this. Whether or not it's true or not, but he went before the fact of the suicide to the Inquirer. He was famous for going to there and selling them stories and stuff. He showed up and told them, yeah, Courtney Love wants me to kill Kurt and blah, blah, blah. And they didn't take it. He went to the whatever news. He went to a few different ones with the story. They didn't bite. Boom, it happens. Now, Duce told the Inquirer, she wants me to do it above the garage because they just put new carpet in the house. And they don't want, all this stuff. And he does a lie detector. Now, I don't know if you guys know about lie detectors. They pretty much work.
They're not admissible in court, though, right?
I'm not sure, but they pretty much work. He passed the lie detector test. I know he was a good liar.
Yeah.
And if he told himself something enough times, he probably believed it.
Right.
So all this comes out, whether it was foreshadowing or maybe Duce was, some kind of, what's his name that predicts the future?
Nostradamus.
Quasimodo. If you're a Sopranos fan, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do know exactly what you said.
So maybe Duce was had some foresight, but then after the fact it came out, and then everybody wanted to talk to him. Everybody was paying him for interviews. He made money off it. So what I know is that something was said, and for some reason he had some money, and he said it before the fact, and after the fact it happened, and who knows what happened. Duce had no involvement in it, and as far as his death at the train tracks, he went out to a swap meet that morning with Alan Wrench.
Yeah.
And poor Alan, man, Duce threw his name out there, and the cops will still go to his house to this day because if somebody calls and does, I know it's an unsolved murder still, or it's an unsolved case, so they have to go up, and somebody calls it in, they have to go respond and check on it.
Yeah.
So they got to bring him down to the police station, question him, and then let him go. However long it takes. So he goes to Stater Brothers, which was right on Europa, at the corner of Europa and Europa by the Jack in the Box in Riverside, California. He buys a bunch of stuff after this thing. He's had a 32-pack of King Cobras, or Old English 800, a matter of fact. And my friend Jerry has the last beer. And he's coming back during rush hour, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So this intersection's huge. It's like a bunch of different crossings right there. And the trains go through there like boom, 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 boom. I mean, they fly through there. So Duce is carrying bags, all happy he's going to barbecue. He's got some money. He's probably got some of that Courtney Love courtroom money, from the TVs. His bags break on the train track.
Oh.
He's trying to pick everything up, and everybody said that he zig-heiled the train. But what happened? Yeah. So what happened was the sun's going down. Train has a light. He's trying to pick up his stuff. He sees the train and goes, "Oh!" His head flies a mile down the road, decapitated.
Oh.
Wow.
Damn.
So there's the end of that
How
story.
do they know? How do they know he to even say that he was Zeke Heiling? I mean, who witnessed this?
There was hundreds of witnesses.
All on the street?
Yeah, it was rush hour. It's like I said, there was at least 50 witnesses to what happened.
Wow.
To be honest, I mean, if you knew this area, I mean, and there was witnesses on both sides of the tracks because, boom, it happened. You know, it's not like it was on one side of the train or not. Everybody saw. Everybody had a front row seat to, you know, basketball with Duce's head. You know, pop. And you know, from his ID and everything, they went up to Heathen Scum and said, "Do you know Eldon?" You know, it was a police officer. And he's all, I don't know why. You know, do you know how to get a hold of his family? He goes, "Oh, we're his family," and you know, and basically told him what happened. You know, but a lot of people think that Courtney Love threw him and had him thrown in front of the tracks by Alan Wrench, and Alan, yeah, he was with him at the swap meet earlier that day. They were good friends. He loved them. You know, they were buddies. He didn't hurt him. No. But, you know, it's crazy because Duce said a lot of things, and where the band is played in Seattle, and a member of Nirvana, after the fact, grabbed Sickie Jr., shaking him, hitting him. "You ruined our reputation." You know, it's just
has to be David Grohl. You don't have to tell me.
No, it actually wasn't. Process of elimination, you know.
Yeah, gotcha.
My buddy worked for David Grohl and the Foo Fighters after the fact, and you weren't allowed to say anything about the Mentors, you know. But it wasn't David Grohl. Like they'd hit me up and go, "Marc, get us some shirts for the crew guys," you know, and they're like, "Okay," you know. You know, I don't know how much bad blood there is, but you know, it's funny.
You know, we have this Conspiracy 420 show now for a few years, and we talk about all this kind of stuff. Would you be interested in coming back and doing a show on this?
Yeah.
Get into it a little deeper?
Oh, I can go really deep on it. Yeah, I won't, just to save some, but we've been contacted by the surprising amount of people over this, and it's something that no matter what we say, people won't believe. No matter what, you know, if we tell people the facts of what happened, they have it. Like I said, people have it in their mind what they want to believe. So they want me to go, yeah, she paid him, yeah, they killed him, and yeah, Courtney Love got away with it. That's what they want to hear more than anything. They just want to hate somebody so bad that they're willing to believe this, you know. But
well, one thing with our conspiracy show that we have no problem doing is debunking a conspiracy.
Okay.
So, you know, it doesn't have to be that, you know, we're pushing that angle of it. But so Maddog, I want to thank you for coming on. Fantastic guest.
Yes.
And talked about so much more than even just the Mentors, but it's, you know, I'm so glad that you guys are still out there doing this whole thing. You're like the old guard, you know what I mean, for rock and roll, punk rock, and the attitude that it's supposed to be of
not giving a fuck is what it's supposed to be. Yeah,
the man, you know what I mean.
Real.
What was that?
Keeping it real.
Yeah, that's what we try to do, and we try to sprinkle bullshit all over it too. You know,
a little bullshit.
I like fucking with people.
What's better than that?
Especially recently, that
like you gotta fuck with them more.
Yeah, that Greg Gutfield, you know him from the Four, like on the news.
The Fox
Five or whatever.
Five, yeah.
He discussed the Mentors on it, telling some girl that she should be a fan of the Mentors since she has such good mentors and all this stuff. It's kind of weird, but he's a big fan, and now I get to fuck with people on that level too. And I just love to. It's just
you should reach out to him and try to get on his show. I don't watch Fox News anymore, but I do watch him occasionally.
I've spoken with him already. And,
you should. You'd be a great guest on that show.
There's a difference between Guar and the Mentors.
Oh yeah.
Guar, it's fun and stuff. Especially now, it's more for kids. Since Dave died.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan, but I like the guys in the band, so they're really cool to me. But as far as the Mentors going on his show, there's no way of explaining the Mentors to people and making it okay. It's bad, no matter what.
Well, they either get it or they don't.
Yeah, but it's something that would get him probably really canceled. And me live, unless I had a hood on the whole time. I mean, like live with a bunch of yapping in my head, or in my ear. But
okay, so coming out soon, you said, is this Greatest Hits, right?
Yeah, Greatest Shits.
Greatest Hits. When is it coming out, approximately, as far as you know?
We're in the mastering process right now, and as soon as that's done, because I have to master it for vinyl, it's going to print. I'm talking to a European distributor. Don't know if I'm going to do that route, but I'm limited edition going. It's going to be available for pre-sale through Facebook and other avenues like that. And then when it's released, it's going to, I'm planning on doing something really special for it. Like, especially like for the first 100 where they get a hood, a poster. Like I want to print, that quality of poster, Mentors, whether it has all the old flyers and stuff, and then stickers and stuff like that. I used to love getting a Kiss album, and all that stuff was inside of it. So
back in the day, you got old posters, everything.
Yeah, and I think people miss out. And I'm even thinking about putting out 8 tracks and cassettes too. But,
I'd buy that.
Yeah, it's just something to have. But they'll be out really soon. I'm shooting for mid-May to be out, and or right at the beginning of May. That way we have it when we do our summer shows. Touring with vinyl for sale is hard. Vinyl is heavy.
Carry.
You got a lot to carry. Plus, it's very delicate, and especially temperatures. And when you're touring on the road, Arizona, Texas, and stuff, the heat and humidity is really bad for them. So you really got to be careful. But hopefully, I'll be sold out before we even leave. So I'm going to let people pre-order them. I'm shooting for the $50 price because it is a double record, and I'm going to try to throw in a lot of stuff with it. And that will include shipping in the United States. And hopefully that we get this European distributor that will put out a European version of it with a different color cover, maybe do the white cover in the United States, and do the a yellow cover, like piss yellow cover. Same cover art, but just
change the background.
Yeah, just change
the
the background.
Having a hood with it is genius.
It is, yes, it is.
Yeah, I believe it or not, we get asked to buy hoods. Can I buy a hood? And I tell people, I go, you can get a fucking pillowcase and make your own hood cheaper than we would sell you a hood for. And people want to buy it regardless. So
nice.
That's the cover. I don't know.
There you go. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, and
I've been sharing that a little bit, that story on Facebook with my rock show group page. That's coming out. I tell you what though, when you're ready to put it out, you say in May, get in touch with me. Okay. Me and Rob will do a review of the album.
Okay? Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, and we hit a few thousand people, and like I said, when you come east, you let us know. And we'll do a review, and I'll be in touch with you about doing a conspiracy show. You come back when you're ready.
We'll have a fucking blast.
Fucking A. Thank you, Maddog, for coming on the RockerMike and Rob Presents, Maddog of the Mentors.
Yeah.
All right. This is one of my favorite shows, man. This is awesome. There he is.
You should have a class on how to make your own hood.
Etsy. We'll do an Etsy or
Etsy, yeah.
What's that stupid one? Pinterest.
Pinterest. Yeah, whatever the hell it is.
I own a tattoo shop for 30 years this year. That fucking Pinterest, everybody brings in the same pin. I want this. I'll be the only one with it. Well, fuck, it's already on somebody.
Good with that.
Yeah, fuck you. But I'll do
You're
it.
the only one today with it. But
yeah, today. I used to fuck with people like when the infinity sign with the birds that fly off it. I don't know if you ever seen that. Real big California thing too. Yeah. Well, people would want that, and I go, we ran out of those. Oh, can I get something different? Yeah. Okay, what a cross with faith on it. Oh, we're out of those too. Okay, well, what do you think? Let's do this. Okay. It's just funny how am I out of a tattoo? It's just,
exactly.
I fuck with people in the regular world too.
Love it. So, Maddog, thanks again. And like I said, I'll be in touch. George, what can I say? George Figueroa,
always a pleasure.
Mentors, expert, and all around pain in the ass. We love you, George. All right.
We gotta get Heathen on this, but it's really hard to understand them. But,
well, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. And all the best to you, man. I hope this thing comes out soon and it sells 1 million. That'd be awesome.
Hey, well, at least 300.
Cool.
At least pay for itself. At least pay for itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So, what do we say at the end of every show?
We don't get drunk.
We get lumped up.
Lumped up.
All right.
See you next time.
I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Well, I'm lumped up, but I'm okay. It's gonna get lumped up anyway. You better call back the posse. Just getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi.